Hey, what's up everybody? This is Paulio Jr. And in today's video, I wanted to show you guys how to add auto air conditioning refrigerant to your vehicle. So once you start noticing that your air conditioning isn't coming out as cool as it used to, or even coming out warm, which is my case at the moment. So you're only going to need two things. And the one is this can by itself, which they sell individually. And it's just refrigerant 134A. And it's very universal, so you can use this on pretty much any car. I'm doing it on a 1999 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo. And the second thing is the actual hose. So where you see, I already attached mine, but this is up to that black part is the entire hose. And then we have the spindle up here to puncture the actual can. So right now I do have it closed, but now this is just a very standard hose. There's no gauge or anything like that. I would recommend getting one with a gauge. They're a little bit more expensive, but at least you can kind of get an idea of where the pressure's at. I'm just kind of going with the flow here. I know that I can, at the very minimum, use one of these cans no matter what, and nothing's going to happen. So we have our can of refrigerant, our Freon, and we have our hose. So the first thing we're going to do is start up the vehicle. Sorry about the camera angle. And we're going to put the AC on to the max, and we're going to bring our coolant out with us right now. And what we want to do is find the nozzle, which this end is going to fit on, and which we can start putting in the coolant. So a lot of the other hoses, they actually have a handle that you can use to push it out. With this hose, it's still pretty easy. But like I said, I mean, you don't have the actual gauge and so forth. That's what's nice. So in my car, this is where I'm going to be putting the coolant in. So, and you'll definitely be able to tell because it's only going to fit this exact one. So what I'm going to do first is just make sure that my hose is, I have this little lever here. So you pull this up, push it down on it all the way until it can't move. So it's not budging at all. Now with this one, with the can, with this specific hose, I have this little spindle on top. I have it shut, so you should be able to hear it. You might be able to hear it a little bit, but I'm opening it up right now so that it will release into the system. The car needs to be on. The AC needs to be on max. So all I'm doing is just opening the can completely and going from there. So, and what you would do is if you just have the hose itself with the can without a gauge or anything like that, all you're going to be doing is just kind of switching it back and forth just like this. That's all. So, and you let that go until you start to feel the can getting empty. So this is putting the coolant into the system. So every couple seconds, every like 3 to 5 seconds, you just want to keep turning it, just to make sure that the coolant's being moved and going into the system. So, and you might not be able to hear it right now, but I can hear it a little bit of once I start turning it. So from a vertical angle, to a horizontal angle. So you Just do that every couple seconds, and you'll start. So the can itself is starting to get a little bit lower. It's starting to get lighter. So once that starts to happen, you can actually have the can completely upside down, and then wait for it to, until it really feels like it's empty. And this one's actually, I did use a little bit of this earlier. And like I said, I would definitely highly recommend getting the one with the gauge on it and with the trigger. But if you're a little tight on cash and so forth, you can just get a regular hose like this, do what I'm doing, see how the air feels. You can kind of use that as your gauge instead. So if you feel the air getting nice and cold where you want it to be, you can just stop right there, and then just save the can and the hose for a later day. So what I'm going to do now. This is all it is. It's very simple. The one with the gauge and the lever on it. You can just let it sit here like this. The hose is a lot longer, and you can just squeeze it, and it'll give you a pressure on where to stop and so forth. This we're just kind of going by, so I would go in and into the car, see how the air feels. If it feels pretty cold, then I would just stop right there, and we're good to go. So make sure the car is on. And now what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to close this completely. And make sure I don't lose this cap. I'm going to close this completely, as much as I can here. And then we're going to take off the other side of the hose. So you hear that little sound. So make sure that the cap is back on for the cooling system. And then I'm just gonna double check. And like I said, initially it was pretty hot, and now it's coming out a little bit cooler. So I would actually probably do another can just to be safe. And and what I'll do is I'll just continually just check and see how the airflow is going. But like I said, I would definitely suggest getting one with the lever and the gauge itself. I know I'm reiterating that, but it's definitely worth it. It definitely makes it a lot easier. Where your cap would be for your cooling system might be in a different area, and it probably is in a different area. And a lot of times, if you have the AC running, you'll actually find maybe some condensation around that part of the engine. So from there, if you see that cap and then it fits on perfectly, you're good to go. Always check your manual first, just to be safe. But I know that in the 1999 Jeep Grand Cherokee, this is where it's at. I've done it before. So I hope this video helped you. It's very simple. Depending on where you can go, you can get the coolant for a pretty reasonable price. And the cool thing is that you can continually use the hose over and over and over and over. So, and that's all I got. So thanks for watching, guys. See ya.